Today I'm going to be covering off multi-planar movement patterns. Starting first with the basics, the three main planes of motion, followed by the five main joints and how they move. Starting first with the three major planes of motion. Firstly, we have sagittal, which bisects our body into equal sides left and right. Secondly, we have frontal, which gives us an anterior, a front, and a posterior, a back. And thirdly, we have transverse, which gives us an inferior, a lower, and a superior, an upper portion. Okay. And now moving into the five main joints. Starting first with the shoulder. The shoulder is one of the most versatile and flexible joints in the body. It has many purposes, as we'll soon see. Starting first with flexion, the arm comes down. Extension, the arm comes to a neutral position by your side. And hyperextension, where it goes behind your back. And from the side, we have flexion, extension, and hyperextension. This happens in the sagittal plane. Secondly, we have abduction and adduction. Abduction out to the side, and adduction back to your neutral central point. This happens in the frontal plane. So, abduction, the arm moves out laterally, and adduction back towards a neutral position by your side. And there's also rotation in the shoulder. Starting first with internal, the shoulder rolls internally towards your midline, and external rotation, where the shoulder rolls back posteriorly. And from the side, interior, exterior rotation. Secondly, we have the shoulder girdle, or the scapula, which is located right here. And it's not nearly as flexible as the shoulder. So starting first, we have the elevation, the scapula tightens, and depression. Moving inferiorly from that position, it loosens up. And from behind, elevation, depression. Okay, and there's also abduction, the arms come up, and adduction, moving back down, releasing the tension in the scapula. And from behind, abduction, adduction. And there's also rotation. Starting first with upward rotation, the arms come up, and you feel the scapula tighten once again, and downward rotation. Just like that. And from behind, upward, downward rotation. Moving now into the lumbar region, or our backs. The main motions here are flexion, forward, extension to a neutral position, and hyperextension, breaking 90. And from behind, we have flexion, extension, and hyperextension. And also in the lumbar region, we have transverse rotation, which is basically side to side, as well as we have sideways flexion. So down to the side, and now the other side, down to the other side. That's sideways flexion. Now moving into the hip, we have flexion, which the leg comes forward, and extension, back to a neutral position. And we also have hyperextension, back behind. Alright, now from the side, we have flexion, extension, and hyperextension. And there's also rotation within the hip, obviously. So we have internal, so the hip turns in towards the midline of the body, and external, where the hip moves externally away from the midline. And last but certainly not least, we have our knee joint, which is flexion, the leg comes up and flexes, and extension back to the neutral part. And from the side, we have flexion and extension. There's obviously no hyperextension with your knees, because that would be a very bad day. And also we have rotation, inward rotation, and outward rotation of the knee. And that basically does it for this presentation. Thank you for your time.